Welcome to the TDX Podcast, where pop culture meets style, design, and everything in between.
I'm Russo, and I am your designer, disruptor, and the man who makes your walls talk with tech, taste, and a hint of drama.
And I'm Camille, your go-to for entertainment, beauty, and fashion, with a little behind-the-scene twist.
And you have a design background as well, so you can throw interior design and style in there for you as well.
Might as well, right? But each episode, we dive into the latest pop culture, design trends, red carpet moments, and current buzz in Hollywood and beyond.
So we're breaking down everything from AI-powered interiors to Kris Jenner sharing a closet with Kim and a $6 million Wizard of Oz wedding that would make Linda faint.
Yeah. This TDX podcast with Camille and Danny, let's get into it. So what did you think about because you go to Italy all the time. You're Italian.
I do.
What did you think about Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, huge $60 million, $40 million? I've heard so many different
numbers
thrown out there. Yeah. What did you think of them doing it in Venice or doing it?
Well, I kind of think it's a disservice to, oh my God, the city of Venice and culture, period, because Jeff should have known better. He has such a huge yacht that he couldn't even park it in Venice. And a lot of the Venice citizens protested the event going on because Venice is still sinking, which a lot of people don't realize. So I was watching everything go down, and the water taxis had to be, the events were changing frequently. So when they would hire a water taxi, they wouldn't give them the location that they were taking the guests to until they were midway into the trip. So the water taxis would pick the guests up from his yacht and then get a call of where to drop them off. One thing I did notice about it, everybody was dressed to the nines. And something I read last night, which made me actually really happy. I don't know who Lauren Sanchez is, but I saw the dress that she wore, and it was inspired by Sophia Loren, who's the most famous Italian actress on the planet. And the dress looked stunning in my opinion. But Venice is just so picture perfect. It's one place in Italy I've not gotten to visit yet, but I read up on it all the time, and they've just been overwhelmed with tourists. So for Jeff to spend that amount of money, I hope he makes some significant contributions to improving the environment there.
No kidding. So one thing I do know, Lauren Sanchez, she was a TV journalist, I think for Fox News. I'm not 100% sure. Write in the comments if you know the right answer for it. But it was their second wedding. So there was also that element. They both have children from previous marriages. And her dress was Dolce & Gabbana, which I feel like, they have kind of for it to be Pride Month and all, like Dolce & Gabbana, although they're gay, they've been very outspoken about being against gay issues or like gay marriage and different things like that. No, Dolce & Gabbana, the creators of Dolce & Gabbana, who they used for her dress.
That's interesting.
They were also guests.
I didn't know that, but I believe, I don't know. Is Dan and Dean Dolce & Gabbana? I think they're two brothers. I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. I honestly don't know because I'm not in the fashion world. If I were my wedding, I'd be walking down the aisle in a black dress by Rick Owens. But I thought, I am so confused with politics lately. I can't keep anything straight. I thought Jeff Bezos was a Democrat. Apparently he's not. I thought that Elon Musk was a Democrat. Apparently he's not. I do know that Leonardo DiCaprio was there, and I do know that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt are very big on environmental stances and issues. So I remember somebody saying a topic of there were over 90 private jets that flew in, and the carbon footprint of all of that happening is just kind of like, wow, in my mind. Yeah. But to each their own. I'm happy for them. Did Kim and Kris wear Dolce & Gabbana? Is that what?
Yeah, that was another thing. So apparently, the entire Kardashian crew was there. But one thing that was said was that Kris was wearing a dress that Kim had already worn. But at least that was kind of environmentally friendly. They were repurposing an old dress.
Because I'm sure they're out of closet space, and they have to. Between that family, my God, they could interchange clothes. They probably have enough. I actually know for a fact they probably have enough clothing. Kim actually has a warehouse filled with clothes, which I actually find to be amazing. I wish I could be that organized, but she has dresses that are outfits that are in clear bags in a warehouse with the picture of the look and when and where she wore it. And they have so many clothes, but I guess it's like fashion deja vu.
Well, I know one thing, there was a meme that was going around where they were like, this was probably the worst 30 days for all their assistants. And I'm thinking of that assistant trying to find that dress, those looks, the shoes to repurpose again. Wouldn't want that job.
I mean, would you, if you were to get married again, like when I got married, we had a very small wedding. It was 50 people. I really didn't even want that many people. And I didn't even spend time planning my wedding. I think I did it in 30 days. Most of the guests were my mother's friends. I didn't ever want a big production, which you would think, being who I am and Danny Russo, you would think that I would want a big production, but I actually wanted the complete opposite. And we had it in the restaurant. It was a very intimate venue. And I just think weddings are so much work. Like, you can't really enjoy yourself.
Well, not only that, I think for them, it was a business transaction in a way. Like this was a way to have all these different people network at the same event because there was the CEO from Google, there was a CEO from ChatGPT, like all these tech giants were there. There was political figures there because like Ivanka Trump and her husband were there. Every single woman, they were probably going there trying to get themselves a count or something, so it all made sense in a way, like have money, make money.
Hopefully it did a lot for the tourism. I saw them arrive on a wooden boat, and that's what Venice is known for. A lot of their boats are handcrafted by wood artisans that almost don't even exist anymore. Well, I saw them arrive, and I saw a picture of her dress, and that's really all I paid attention to. I didn't know the location or anything, but I would have loved to have been an event planner on the wall watching all that go down. It also sounds like it was a logistical nightmare at the same time, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was like rainfall the night before. Apparently there was a downpour, and then they had a foam party on a yacht. Like that just sounds like danger. You don't want slippery things on a yacht. Like, you heard about the kid that fell overboard at Disney. I can't even imagine the logistics of all of that because nobody's going to jump in after that party.
Venice is such a beautiful city, and a lot of people don't realize that it's actually sinking. It's getting worse. And depending on high or low tide, you have to be walking through about a foot of water at any given time if it's high tide. And when the tide goes out, you don't have to wear the shoes. But it's quite an interesting city. But they're trying to do all these things to reduce the amount of tourism, maintain the beauty of the city because it's architecturally historical. But it'll be interesting. I don't know. Wedding's over, but I'm sure we'll be hearing stories coming out all week about it.
Well, I mean, she got the cover of Vogue, so I'm assuming at some point we'll get the insider pictures for it as well. Kind of curious how it all speaks. Yeah.
Vogue. Did you hear that Anta Wintour is retiring?
Well, she's just stepping down a little bit because she's still going to be it, but like they're going to have like an editor of content or something.
Yeah.
Just like with Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming out. She's not ready to let that go.
No, I'm sure
That's
she's
free
not.
publicity.
But the editor of Teen Vogue actually came from, I don't know, 17 magazine or something. I don't know, the editor of, oh God, I might get it wrong, but the editor of one of the major design magazines was the editor of Teen Vogue. And I thought that was a little bit bizarre at the time when I had heard that. And who knows? Yeah, we never know what's going on. I would love to see what was in the gift bag at that wedding. I can guarantee you that.
Well, it was interesting that you bring that up because they shared some details and some of it was like some slippers from Amazon she gave.
Yeah.
What do you give people that have everything and access to everything and can get it for free or cost? But speaking of cost, I mean, you're an interior designer and you get really great deals on things. And right now everybody's looking for sales and special deals.
So Americans have been trained to shop for some reason. American consumerism has been trained to let's shop around a sale. So every time there's a holiday, it seems like there's a sale. So it's like, oh, Flag Day, we're having a sale. 4th of July, we're having a sale. Labor Day, sale. Memorial Day, sale. Black Friday, Thanksgiving, anything, there's a sale. But if it's on sale, that's not a real sale. That's probably what the price you can get it at year round. And we've been seeing that happen across the board with pretty much everything these days. But when you're buying through a designer, we get the best prices and we don't participate in the consumerism. When you're going to buy a sofa, a lot of people only buy furniture a very few times in their entire lifetime. When you're working with an interior designer, we get the best pricing at all times, not just at a holiday, not just at a sale. And we're passing that on to our clients. But I was just having this conversation with a client recently. All the millennials have gone, started with my generation, which is Millennial, Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z. nobody's going into stores anymore to buy things. So you really can't see, touch, or feel. And a lot of the stores have gone out of business. So if you want to see something now and you do actually get to go into a store, you're only going to see products that the store is selling that are one of their top sellers. You're going to see stuff that they make the most money off of, which means the product's going to be a lower quality. It's been value engineered, so they're making top dollar and top profit. And you're not getting a good quality piece. You're purchasing something that you're going to be replacing in 3 to 7 years. When you're purchasing through a designer, we know the quality of things and we want them to last. And we're selecting things for our clients that are pretty much around the same price. They might be a little bit more expensive, but it's stuff that you're going to have for a long time and can take a beating. And there's so much value that a designer brings to the table by giving you the access to those things. That's a very big hot topic in our industry right now. And a lot of people are like, oh, I really want to see it first. I really want to see it first and touch it and feel it. Well, guess what? That's what we're here for. As designers, we've gone to markets and we've seen things. We've touched them. We've felt them. We know the quality of them. We think differently. We can see what it's going to look like in your space. So it's all about trusting your designer. And everybody always is like, oh, I feel like I can't afford you. And that's not true. We work with all budgets. And when it comes to hiring a designer, you want to hire one that works well for you and one that's experienced. I've seen designers out there that can't draw. It really drives me crazy. And I've seen some designers that will only give people a note or a bill. They'll only give people a bill, not even a presentation. So it gets little sketchy. But you always want to be working with a designer and seeing how that works out. But design is affordable to everybody.
No, I think you bring up a great point about technically more expensive, but not really, because you're finding things that are going to built to last as opposed to they're just built to move.
But yeah, always hire a designer. Get your designer in there sooner rather than later. And people are always afraid of what the price is going to be. But we end up saving you money in the long run, which I preach and preach and preach.
One thing that I learned from watching you is that, like you said, the average person only buys like one sofa a year, as opposed, or maybe not even a year, but a designer might buy 30. So then you get a better rate the more that you purchase from a certain vendor. So tell me more about that.
I did the math one time, and I think the average person in a lifetime will only buy at the max 5 to 7 sofas. And that's not a lot. As a designer, we're going through all different brands. And I mean, my God, I'm selling like 70 or 80 sofas a year. It just depends on the client's budget and what they want. But we typically know whose quality, how long you're going to use it for, if you're moving, how big your family is, if you're going to grow, what's your return on investment on the house. I hate how people go and they'll just like, oh, I don't care about this. I'm going to use it in the basement. It's like people's basements turn into these catch-alls for old furniture. That's my opinion on purchasing sofas.
No, but I mean, it's a great point, because the average person won't know that you're getting a bigger discount because you also are a repeat customer. So,
exactly. I'm even friends with some of the actual owners of the manufacturers. So, I mean, I'm deep in the sofa world. I could tell you where the fabric's made. I could tell you where the wood comes from. Oh boy, love my job. I love my job. I just keep telling myself that.
Well, that's a good point too, that because everybody is like, they want to touch it, feel it themselves. You don't need, well, I mean, you do because you go to market, but at the same time, you can tell what texture, what they're made with, what foam they're using, or if it's Dow or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that technical stuff to be able to really break it down.
Also, you're working with me as my brand strategist and running all of my marketing. So you also can see what's coming down the pipeline. You just had a meeting with an AI company that's working with one of the brands that we work with called Bernhardt. Now, I've been watching this trend come down the pipeline for the last 10 years. AI is about to take over our industry. It's taking over a lot of industries. I've always said that what's going to happen is you're going to have these fabrics that you'll be able to touch. And they're going to be different kind of fabrics. They're going to be plain fabrics, but we're going to be able to put on a pair of 3D goggles. And in the renderings that we do, we'll put the actual color of the sofa in them, and we can request the actual color. To get down to it, we'll be showing you fabrics that aren't necessarily the color that we will be ordering, but you'll be able to feel it, and then you'll have a pair of virtual reality glasses on, or you'll see it colorized in our renderings. So that's coming down the pipeline. And Bernhard, I met the company back in 2015 who started taking these pictures. Everything's coming down to pictures and renderings where we can do 3D and put things in. The meeting that you had with the AI company, they put a woman walking through my house and a golden retriever. And I'm like, is that my wife? It was a little bit scary, but it was quite interesting. We are the most technologically advanced design firm, and we are utilizing that. And my team is just so good at producing photorealistic renderings of what you're going to get before you purchase it. So I think that's a talent we have, and I'm so excited for everything that's happening in that realm.
I agree with you. I feel bad for a lot of these set decorators and artists that may be out of jobs, but there's new jobs that they can get into.
If you think about it, set decorating went out the window with computer, what is it, CGI?
Not yet.
Computer generated by a lot of like the effects. The computer generated.
A little different. Operators are different. They're not out of business yet. I mean,
no.
Right now, all film industry is out of business, but
I mean, the film industry, if you're watching like one of the high-tech films, they're filming all that on a green screen and inserting it in. They do still need things.
They still have things that they might have in their hands and so on. It's just for what I saw, what they were doing with that meeting that we were talking about. I've been on jobs where they built the furniture. They brought in, Home Depot would bring in the furniture, build it into the studio so you could see the process of it being made. Now they'll be able to skip through that. So the designer that comes in to build it, to set it up, they're just going to have to find an easier way to do their job, or find another way, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Pivot.
It's called pivot. Yeah.
You'll have to get very tech savvy.
Totally. But yeah, our industry, it's changing.
And I feel like AI is a lot like with calculators in a way. Like at first, there was probably a lot of people like, oh, you can't use a calculator. That's not real. You don't really know the math. And now with ChatGPT or the different atoms, you can learn how to use that as a tool, just like you would a calculator.
I remember math classes. Some teachers would be like, what are you going to do if you don't have a calculator on you? So you need to do this math by hand. Well, apparently,
smartphones would be in our everywhere.
Exactly. And then I remember having some teachers that would encourage us to use calculators because they saw what was coming in the future. And I mean, my God, we have scientific calculators that are now built into our phones, and you can hook it up to the note, and it's incorporating AI, and it can do complex math problems.
Your email, it can be automatically set up with settings where it'll, like if you write it in the email, it'll answer it for you.
Yeah. I just saw that come through one of our emails the other day. It said, look up to Outlook. And I'm like, wait, what? How do I do this now?
No, but that's so accurate, because with me being the brand strategist and having access to your house account and seeing all the different renderings and so forth, there was times, because I was looking on a very small screen, it's like, I didn't know, like, it wasn't real. And so it's so realistic now, which is another thing. And I feel like it really helps out with time too, because how long would it take for somebody to draw that all out?
Oh my God. It would take, it used to take weeks and weeks. I mean, to get to a realistic rendering, we would used to use watercolors. We would never get them as good as they look now. But even to draft a project with the walls and the plumbing and what's behind and the technical drawings, it would take forever. And now we scan it with our phones, and our programs are just amazing. I'm really excited after we get off this call. ChatGPT can now decorate a room, and I have a specific prompt, and that's been going through all our groups now. And it'll take our renderings that don't look as good, and I'm going to send them to you because I took screenshots of them, but you put the prompt in, and it'll take our generic rendering and make it look like, send it to you right now. I think it did 2 of them, and it was like, you have to put this special prompt in. But again, networking is a big thing. I'm connected to a lot of designers. I would never know this prompt thing unless I saw it in one of my designer groups. I'm a design influencer, and I'm connected, and I go to networking events, which I still go to in person. And that's how I learn a lot of what I know. So, but
this is amazing.
Yeah.
I just got your
But
picture.
I'm like, I want to look into that because somebody posted it and they were like, put this prompt in and the program we use is called Chief Architect, but look at that, how it made it look like real. And a lot of times when you see if you're looking at the picture with the chandelier in it, if you look at that picture, the top picture looks like a really good rendering. But if you put it in ChatGPT, it'll kind of change things. And then to render it to make it look like the bottom one, it takes so much computing power to make the light. It's called ray tracing. It could take up to an hour to 2 hours just to do ray tracing. So it looks like this is a nice expansion on that. So I'm excited to try this later today.
No, this is great because even like with that AI meeting that I had, she was saying how they work with 500 different vendors already.
Yeah,
So
everyone she
you
named
try-
to you, I was recognizing too.
So you can try the actual product, the right sizing, but they do use real photographers, real sets to take those initial pictures. So the
Yeah, yeah.
lighting is proper.
Yeah, they have to. But I met a company in Las Vegas in about 2015, and it was in Las Vegas, it could have been High Point, but I met a guy and there's companies that just take pictures of furniture and spaces, and he was focusing on AI, and he's one of the first people, I believe he started at the IKEA and Wayfair trend where you can visualize things in your space, but he actually invented that. And he gave me a preview of it way back in the day. And that's why I've always tried to be like on the forefront of that, not trying to get technology.
No, I'm sure your clients appreciate it too because they can see and try
They love
things
it. They're
around.
obsessed. It's like Disney World over here at Daniel Russo home,
Yeah, it's like Ready Player One.
which is based in Columbus, Ohio.
I was waiting for that. I was like, how long will
If
it
you
take?
watch Ready Player One, it's based in Columbus, Ohio. This looks nothing like that.
I hope not.
Yeah, very different.
Well, this has been a great episode talking about
Yeah.
everything from weddings to technology. Can't wait for the next episode. What do you think we're
Same.
gonna talk about next?
I don't know. We'll come up with something good.
Yeah, always. Well, make sure
Yeah.
you follow us, you tell your friends, you share, comment, all the engagement stuff. As the brand strategist, I have to say that part. And we'll
Yeah.
have next episode.
Yes, and we're going to be doing lots of episodes this summer. I can't wait. Happy summer. I hope you guys are staying cool. It's been hot, hot, hot. And whether it's a couture gown, digital rendering, $6 million wedding, a celebrity divorce, we're going to be talking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I love your hair and I hope you win. Guys, happy designing.